What's up, guys? Welcome back to Dead Malls, and welcome to day 3 of the Cincinnati expedition. Today, of course, on a cloudy day, because apparently we don't get to see the sun in Cincinnati, or on the entire expedition. After a quick visit to Kings Island to get every coaster credit, and to ride Orion, God, I love that ride, I headed down south through the cold day to visit the struggling Eastgate Mall. Located in the southeastern metro, this is the sister mall to Northgate, which is located, you guessed it, up north, by Forest Fair. Eastgate actually wasn't in as bad of a state as I thought it would be. I've heard a lot of people talk about how this is Cincinnati's prime dead mall after Forest Fair, but most of it was actually bustling. What I did conclude, however, was that this mall suffers from a severe case of anchoritis. The old Sears and Dillard's wings are especially vacant and dying. It's really just the food court and center court holding it up here. But before I spill too much, and before we head in, I'd like to congratulate the winners who were able to guess the next mall. Great job, Noah, Cool Cat, and Jason. Also, the special winner who was able to correctly guess the number of buckets in Forest Fair was Jennifer. Congrats, Jennifer. Very awesome. Anyways, let's head in here and tell the story of Eastgate Mall and how this metro center fought for its competition to be one of the last Cincinnati malls. So, to start off here, I just want to preface by saying this mall up front was very busy, and I don't really like recording people because, you get a lot of weird stares, so I didn't really get a whole lot of the food court in this first wing, but we definitely come back and I get a little bit more. I don't know if I caught this mall on a good day, because a lot of people say this is like the big dead mall for Cincinnati. I think I filmed it on a Friday afternoon, but this mall was weird because traffic is plentiful up front, and then as you work your way back, it starts getting more and more and more sparse. So just keep your eyes out and notice how it'll die off. Eastgate Mall's story begins in the early 70s. With the growing suburban expansion around the new I-275 Beltway, a mall was soon warranted for the area. As the growing metro was already booming with other malls, it seemed it was time for the retail leg to really kick out here. The Jacobs and Jacobs Group would spearhead the construction of the mall, and groundbreaking would occur in 1974. To be laid out in a stretched V-shape, Eastgate Mall would feature Sears and JCPenney as its anchors among its 90 inline stores. Set to open in 1977, delays between the anchors and the recession of 1975 would push the opening date back to 1979. The already massive mall was ambitious beyond this, however, with 2 new expansions coming soon for 2 future anchors. After even more delays, Eastgate Mall would finally open on March 5th of 1980, to great fanfare. The area the mall was built in thrived economically, and throughout the rest of the 80s, the mall served at nearly 100% occupancy, with tenants such as Sam Goody, KB Toys, Spencer's, Children's Place, Walden Books, Radio Shack, and many, many more. Soon after the mall opened, a freestanding showcase cinemas would be built in the parking lot adjacent to the mall, opening that December of 1980. Flash Gordon himself would make an appearance at the opening, stirring up large crowds. The mall itself would go into the 90s, finally ready for those expansions. One thing I love about Eastgate, which I bet I don't even have to explain to you guys, you've definitely all already made your observations, is the ceilings and just the general vibe of the mall. It feels so unique and modern, yet it retains those old storefronts while having that fine hint of minimalism that we Gen Zers so desperately crave. Welcome, everyone, to the other side of the mall, the Dillard's clearance wing, and this is easily the emptiest stretch. With really just a glow-in-the-dark mini-golf, old label scars tell stories here of what once was. And I bet on any given day, this site is just dead. Let me know though, are there usually this many people down here? In 1992, Eastgate's first expansion would open to the public, with a brand new northwest wing containing 30 new inline stores and the mall's third major anchor, McAlpin's. This new wing brought the mall even more success, bringing the total store count up to around 110 and nearly 1.1 million square feet of space. Just 3 years later, in 1995, Kohl's would open as the mall's fourth and final anchor. As the 90s reared their butt, McAlpin's would become Dillard's in 1998 after the purchase of McAlpin's by the Little Rock-based company. Dillard's having their mall entrance closed here is really the icing on the cake. I wouldn't be surprised if this location was the next anchor to go, as Dillard's clearance centers are really just the butt of the joke for the company. Low-end prices and product quality. I've been in a Dillard's clearance a few times and it's really weird. You'll have all this random crap just stuffed into a store, pants sitting in boxes on the floors, shirts laying around, and then just large stretches of nothing. But why do they close off their mall access? I don't know. Doesn't make much sense to me, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if that location is the next to go in this mall. In 2004, the mall's scattered food tenants would be ushered into the brand new food court. Sitting right in the nook of the mall's V-shaped design, the huge round glass food court was a marvel of its time. As with the modernizations of most malls in the US, Eastgate finally felt up to date once again. Now, there's no date on when this interior renovation took place to give the mall a look it has today, but I'd assume this renovation, which added more modern lighting, ceilings, and fixtures, took place in or around the time of the food court expansion. But you guys let me know below, when was this all added? Meanwhile, in 2004, while the food court was being added, the already struggling Showcase cinemas would close, with the huge abandoned theater being completely demolished sometime between 2006 and 2009. In March of 2015, the mall's Dillard's anchor would be downgraded into a clearance center, as the company was slowly vacating the metro, and further opening up the possibility of closure for the Eastgate location. As the 2010s went on, more and more vacancies were starting to spread throughout the mall, especially near the anchors. Around this time, the mall would be purchased by CBL Properties, who announced plans to demolish the struggling Sears, perhaps already seeing its up-and-coming downfall. Sears would close its doors in December of 2019, being the last Sears store to leave the Cincinnati metro. And in July of 2021, Kroger announced its purchase of the old Sears building. As of now, nothing has happened, and it's unclear what Kroger plans to do with this space, but I think it's very likely they'll just end up demolishing the space and rebuilding it as a freestanding Kroger supermarket, most likely not connected to the dying mall. Down here in the old Sears wing is very similar to Dillard's, being the emptiest wings. Flanked by retro storefronts and the abandoned plants, those old letters still hang strong, and I wonder how long they'll rest there, and what fate lies ahead of them. Eastgate was a mall that was hit very hard by the virus, and it saw a lot of tenants leave, especially in the Sears and Dillard's wing. Very recently, in August of 2022, after I was here, the mall was put up for foreclosure after CBL declared bankruptcy, being quickly sold to the Deutsche Company for $13 million. And that brings us where we are today. This mall's history is brief and short, as with Cincinnati in the 1980s, malls were so commonplace that records and photos of this place weren't really kept. In May of 2022, the mall is definitely struggling to a level I'd compare to Mid Rivers in St. Peters, Missouri, but it's still got clientele, stores, and an image. I definitely wouldn't call this a dead mall, but it is a struggling one, and in the midst of a very recent bankruptcy crisis, and now without future plans, it's unclear what the future holds for the ailing Eastgate. Will it survive into the future, or is it done for, and slowly losing it all? Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching today's episode. To be honest, when I first entered Eastgate, I didn't even know if I really wanted to make a video here. But as I ventured deeper and into the old anchor wings, I was able to discover the truth. That this mall really is on the ropes, and it's only a matter of time before these remaining businesses close down and the mall is either demolished or fitted into some sort of outdoor lifestyle center. I can really see the latter happening there. If you guys enjoy my Dead Mall content, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future Dead Malls episodes. And make sure to head over to the Patreon and support me, and I'll send you a monthly Dead Mall Polaroid taken and signed by me. Next week, in the final Cincinnati episode, we'll be heading across the metro once again to Eastgate's sister mall. Very easy one here. Guess which mall will be at, and I'll shut you out in the next episode. Anyways, until then, have yourselves a very lovely day, and peace out, guys. See you later.